My brother Blake was 19 when he was diagnosed with incurable brain cancer. And he passed away 6 months after that. My brother, he was my best friend. Kind, genuine. He thought he was funny. He thought he was better looking than me. He would light up any room. My junior year of college, I had just finished my last final exam and I got the worst call of my life. My brother was being admitted to Barrows Neurological Institute and scheduled for brain surgery. And I knew that he had some symptoms. Nobody really knew what was causing any of them, but it wasn't until he went in for an eye exam that they noticed his optic nerves were swollen, and they told him to go straight to Barrows. And he went in for brain surgery, and he was later diagnosed with brain cancer, melanoma. Blake was in the hospital for a few weeks after surgery, and they finally let him come home. And they had him going through radiation, chemo, physical therapy. After a while, he ended up losing his sight. I ended up taking the next semester off of school so I could be with him every possible minute that I could. He was always dreaming, man. We were always talking business ideas, inventions. There was one day he reminded me of my freshman year. I had just gotten a brand new laptop. Of course, I chose the one with the biggest screen, which was super bulky. I mean, carrying that thing to and from class was a nightmare. It was a brick. And I remember seeing all these kids walking around with their MacBooks, super light, and I just had to get my hands on them. Instead of spending almost all the money that I had, I realized there was 40,000 kids at U of A, so I went around and started asking all my friends for $1. I figured I could find 1,200 people to give me $1. And this is way back before GoFundMe or any of those crowdfunding sites existed. And after a few weeks, I ended up with about 400 $1 bills sitting in a shoebox in my dorm room. And while I'd love to tell you I eventually made it happen, I kind of ran out of friends and it didn't end up happening. But my brother reminded me about this, and of course he thought we should ask a bunch of people for $1 so he could get himself a new Lamborghini. But I couldn't just sit there and watch what was happening. I had to do something. And that $1 concept, it really resonated with me. And I started thinking, what if we got a bunch of people to donate $1 and we funneled that towards giving back to the community? And that's really the foundation of how Collective Change was born.
I'll never forget the day that Blake passed away. I was on the Big Island of Hawaii on a 2-week training detachment, and I woke up with about 15 missed calls. I immediately knew what had happened. I was thousands of miles away. It hurt me so bad knowing there's nothing that I could have done. I could not have been there for him. That morning, it was my turn to drive the Humvee. 25 minutes, the longest drive I've ever had, just staring and crying. Everyone around me was just laughing and smiling. They had no idea the world just lost such an amazing person.
After Blake had passed, I had tried starting Collective Change with a couple of different people, but it didn't really go anywhere. They really weren't too passionate about it. And it wasn't until Mark got back from the Marines that things really started to change.
When I returned home from the Marines, Evan had asked me out to go to lunch at Blake and I's favorite sushi restaurant. We had shared stories and memories, so many crazy times.
After we got to talking, I was blown away by how much Mark had changed. He left as this young kid, and he's now motivated, driven, and that's when I realized that Mark was the perfect person to work with on this project.
Evan had started telling me about the mission and vision of Collective Change. Knowing that I could be a part of something that Blake had wanted, I was so excited we got started the very next day.
Working with Mark, I mean, he's Blake's best friend. It's almost like I get to work with my brother on a daily basis, and it's really a beautiful thing.
The longer we worked on Collective Change, the more we fell in love with it. There was even a time where Evan moved into my place so we could constantly work on it. It's crazy to think how far we've come from such a little idea.
I really wanted this project's name to mean something. I didn't want to just slap some name on it and call it a day. And there are a lot of different meanings behind Collective Change. Collective meaning we collect $1 donations, and also the aspect of the collective efforts of everyone in the community coming together and donating to a different cause. The change represents 4 quarters, 100 pennies, all these dollar donations we're collecting every month. And it also represents the change we aim to make in the world through all these donations. Our vision is to unite the world and prove that coming together creates the largest impact. And I believe Collective Change really encompasses that in a beautiful way. Collective Change has already done so many amazing things for the Arizona community. We've put up basketball nets for public benefit, donated toys for children with autism, 125 plants for the environment, snacks for homeless students who don't always know where their next meal is going to come from, birthday gifts for foster children, care packages for the homeless, help the homeless veteran get a job, birthday gifts for children with life-threatening illness, gear for athletes with disabilities, rent and child support assistance for a single father and his son, all from $1 donations from people in our community. I mean, one of our donations saved somebody's life. It was April 2017. We were raising money for veterans. We had 120 members, so $120, and it was with an organization called Emergency Medical Veterans Response. And we had donated a medical supplies kit with a ton of different medical supplies in it. Not 2 weeks after that donation, EMVR was on site at a Memorial Day event, and one of their EMTs was responding to a call and ended up using our bag to help a gentleman who was suffering from a heat stroke. To see what can happen from all these $1 donations, how amazing is that? We've been featured on podcasts and the news.
Collective Change.
Collective Change.
Collective Change.
The response we've gotten so far has been absolutely overwhelming. I love doing these donations every month. The people we've met, the stories we've heard, there's really no better feeling in the world. And this is just the beginning. I see Collective Change becoming a movement not only in Arizona, but the United States, even globally. When enough people come together and do just a little bit, we truly can create such a massive impact. My name is Evan Wolfson.
And I'm Mark Giuffre.
And we are the proud co-founders of Collective Change. All of this is for you, Blakey. I love you.